This video will look at an introduction to editing your website in Blackboard for those of you who are brand new to our team. So we'll look at logging in, how to access Site Manager, which is the back end. We'll look at the content structure and how things are set up. We'll review over all the apps on the home page of your website, and then take a look at the new page editing that Blackboard has released. So first things first, to log in, you can see I've started at my school's home page. I'm using Alexander this morning as an example. You can start at your home page or the district site as well. You'll see sign in the top right corner. Click on that to open up where you can type in your username and password. If you forgot your password, you can click right here and it should email you a reset link. I'll go ahead and click sign in. One thing to be aware of with the credentials is they do not update if you change your email password. So if you need to reset it, you'll have to do that manually or have one of us at the district reset it manually. But changing your email password will not change this one. It will stay the same. So once you've signed in, you'll notice that instead of where it used to say sign in, it'll say user options in the top right corner. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see three things in this drop-down menu. The top one is Site Manager. That's the back end of the website where you'll do all editing. You'll also see edit account settings if you need to do that, and then also sign out for when you're done with any work session. So to access Site Manager, to change anything on your site, this is the first way by doing User Options Site Manager. It will always open in a new tab. And I'm going to show you the other way as well. So back to our live site, if you're on any sub page, so if you were looking at, for example, your principal's bio and you saw something that needed to change, you'll see this edit page button in the top right corner. It only shows up when you are signed in. And that will take you directly to edit that page. So that's a good thing to use if you are right on a page and see something that needs changed. Just note that that will not appear on your school's homepage. So I'm going to go back to where we opened Site Manager, and this is the homepage of Site Manager. So we're going to look at a quick overview of what is included on this page and how to navigate. If you look across the top menu bar in the top right corner, you can sign out. If you have access to other Blackboard platforms, for example, ParentLink, which is the all-call system, you'll see a toggle here where you can connect your accounts or navigate from one to the other. You also have the link to Blackboard's Help Center or the link to view your website. So that's across the top. The next thing we'll look at is kind of the workspace, which is going to be this whole middle section you see here is the workspace. And at the top, it will always let you know what workspace you're on. So right now I'm on Alexander Elementary sub-site. So that's just a sub-site of JMCSS. That's what that means. The summary tab is where you'll do probably 90% of the work that you're doing on your website. It will list any of the pages under the section that you're currently on. So you can see right here, I can click to access or edit my home page or my calendar page. Next to your list of pages, you'll see an actions menu. The main thing you would use this for, you can use it to edit your page or page options, but you'll get to those by just clicking on home page as well. But this actions, you can do get link, and that's going to bring you up your web address that goes directly to that page. And that's going to be helpful, especially as we get a little further on. But if you're ever trying to link from one page to another or that kind of thing, you can always get the link for the page by actions get link. It's also helpful if you have something that's not live on your site, but you're working to edit. That link will let you open it in a new tab and keep refreshing and watching what that's doing as well. So a couple other things you'll notice. These tabs up here, aside from summary, which we've talked about, Tools is where files and folders live. So if you are updating uploading any documents or flyers or that kind of thing, they'll live in files and folders. Like I said, you'll have these tabs no matter what section you're on. So as close to the content as you go is where you will want to upload your files and folders, but that's how you get to it. And you may use some of these other tools. We'll look at some of them a little bit later on in our training. Directors and viewers is just going to show you who has access to edit your website. Channels is where you will edit or take on and off the different channels of your website. Statistics will give you basically information on visitors or traffic to your site, which is pretty interesting at times. And How Do I, again, brings you to Blackboard help resources. So that's just a quick overview of those tabs. I'm going to click back home. And the next thing we're going to look at is the way content is structured within our Blackboard site. So on this left-hand menu, you'll see the little cloud icon is going to be next to your sub-site. If you had access to more than one site, this will let you toggle those back and forth. For the most part, you'll be on your school. And then under each sub-site, you have what we call channels. So I've heard this explained that if each site is like a filing cabinet, these channels would be like each drawer within the cabinet. So if you want to look at these and where they are on the live site, I'm going to toggle back to our live website and you'll see this top menu navigation right up here. Each of these is what we call a channel. Each of the things under the drop down are what we call a section. So when I come back on the back end, you may see more channels listed here than actually appear on your site. We do have the ability to have a channel but hide it from navigation. And so there's a couple reasons for that. Either it means we have not built that out for your school yet, or it might be a placeholder for something that we won't have at every school. And so that's something we'll work on filling in throughout the year. But you'll see everything here, even if it's hidden from navigation on your live site. So as we said, the channels are like a drawer in the filing cabinet. So what's in a drawer? Your sections. So these are what appear on the drop-down menu on your live site. And each section can be thought of as a file folder. So you'll see that we have 3 under our school. And if we open these up, within each file folder or section, you may have 1 or more pages, and they would all be listed here. So to see what that piece looks like on the live site, if I go to Principal's Bio again, that was not a good example. Let's see. If I go to this faculty and staff directory, so that we have our home, our school would be the channel, faculty and staff is the section, staff directory is the page that I'm on. And for those sections that have navigation, if you have multiple pages, they will all be listed right here. So I'm going to go back in Site Manager. To edit a page, you just click on it and that will bring it up for editing. You will notice the ability in Blackboard. You'll oftentimes see this little green button for active, and this can be used to toggle active or inactive. If you're looking through your navigation and you come across pages that are inactive, please let them stay that way until we work together to make sure it's ready to go live. Anytime you activate something, that means you're making it live on your website. And so we only want to do that with content that we have vetted and it's ready to be out there for the public. So that's kind of an overview of how the content is organized as far as the hierarchy and structure. Now we're going to drill down to the page level and see what that looks like. So I'm going to exit out of this and go back to our home page. And actually, Site Manager. And I'm going to click on the home page to edit it. So as far as the actual content on the page, which you could think of, if we go back to our filing cabinet analogy, that's like whatever content is written on a piece of paper that's in the filing cabinet, or in a folder, in a drawer, in a filing cabinet. Each piece of content on the page is called an app. And so Blackboard is all app-based. That means they give us a template and we can click and drag to arrange the content apps any way that we see fit. So you'll see, if we look at this home page, the type of app is the smaller text on each of these boxes. And then the larger title is what we have called that specific instance of that app. So for the home page, it's a custom template. You'll see over here on the right what the layout kind of looks like. That's a little mock-up for us. And then where these live is in each section. So I'm going to go section by section and walk you through your home page. And we'll do specific videos on how to edit the content that lives in each of these apps. So think of this video as more of an orientation for you, just to know how to access different things. So starting at the top of the page, you'll see a multimedia rotator app. So this one we've called Homepage Rotator. If you click that open, that's where you would edit the photos that rotate through right on the beginning of your home page. Moving on down the page, you'll probably have a content app. This one's called Welcome to Alexander, and all that is the little block of text that basically says, welcome to our school's website. There's not a lot of need to change that very often, and it's not a place to do big announcements or anything like that. It's really more of a static piece that's just drawing people in. Underneath that, you'll have a Headlines and Features app. That's where we're going to share our news stories as you start writing them. And so you can see right now on this page, this is what we call a shared app. And so that's indicated by the white color and the dashed line around it versus all of these gray ones. And what that means is that content is actually living somewhere else, and we're just sharing it to this page. So it is not something that can be edited right from here. However, when you're ready to start posting your school's news, we will give you a school-specific news app right there. And that's how you will do that. So the reason for not changing it over yet is because we don't want there to be a hole or a blank spot on your page, but as soon as you have something ready to post, we'll add you a gray Headlines and Features app right there, and you'll be able to click on that to add your stories. So again, these the news stories are going to be your short snippets that have a photo attached, and you're just using that to highlight different people or events at your building. So as we keep moving, upcoming events, that is going to pull directly from your school's calendar. So you actually don't edit the content right here, you edit it all on the calendar page, but it will automatically pull the next upcoming events and highlight them on your page. Section D is quick links. That is your yellow bar that's across the center of your website. And if you need to edit that, this is where you'll come. News and announcements, that's what we're going to look at for posting your quick blurbs, just reminders about things, or links to a form that needs filled out, that type of thing. It will all be text-based. It doesn't include photos, and you have the ability when you set it to set an expiration date for it to automatically disappear once it's no longer relevant. So all of that is in the news section. We'll look more specifically at that in another video. So then the last couple sections on here, different schools may have something different in Block F. However, this one, and a lot of you have the Discover JMCSS. It's got our nice little promo video, and that may be something that we change over time, but we'll leave it for now. And then lastly, the site shortcuts, those stay the same on every page. So that's a quick overview of your home page. I'm going to go ahead and go to their live, and we'll just kind of take a quick peek through. If you haven't looked at your school's site, go ahead and do it. So you see this right here is our content app. Of course, we passed already the multimedia rotator. The upcoming events, which are all pulling from that calendar. Then we got our news right here with the highlight photos, and those will cycle through. Scrolling on down, we have our quick links, and here's where your news and announcements will go, and our Discover JMCSS. So that's the basic overview of the home page, and lastly, we are going to look at the new page editing, and that's for our sub pages. So I'm going to go back to our faculty and staff directory as our first example. So from the live side, I see this edit page button. When I click on that, it's going to open in a new tab, but rather than going to the home, it's going to open directly into this page. And so right here, I have another view kind of like what we just looked at for the home page. This is for my staff directory page, and I can see the different apps on the page. For all of our subsites, you will get this more visual view of what your page will look like. If you have content apps or different types of things, you'll see that it will just give you a better idea before actually viewing your live site of what it's going to look like. A couple things up at the top, of course, that's the name of your page. If we look at this, it's going to give you a preview of the page you're working on, and that's for desktop or mobile. It's important to look at both. Can exit out of the preview. I'm still in my editing for that page. We have comments. That's not something we usually enable, but then this last button will give you your page options. That's where if you needed to change the name of your page, if you need to hide something from navigation, that's where you would check that, different things like that. For the most part, a lot of your editing will be just editing specific apps. So a lot of the templates we will handle on the district side, and then you'll be able to come in, for example, your staff directory, find the right app and click this green edit button, and that's going to open up to where you'll actually change content for this app. So every app will look a little bit different in editing. We will do specific videos for each type, but a couple things that will look the same. You'll always have these app options. The primary thing you would use that for is if you wanted to toggle on or off having the app name to display on your page. For the most part, that will be done along with when we create the templates, but there may be times you would want to go in and activate that. So for the staff directory, you can see where we can edit or delete records. If you X out of that, you're still on your page and you have the ability to see or look at any other apps. I'm going to go ahead and X out of that. And that is your basic intro to site editing in Blackboard. Like I said, I know this wasn't a whole lot of here's how to do what, but this video was more just to give you an orientation to what our back end of our site looks like and kind of some of the terminology that we'll be using as we move on with our training.